name. For those of you who do not know me, I'd like to start in prayer tonight. So in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord Jesus, we'd like to thank you for all the people who were able to make it here tonight. We pray for all those who are not able to make it. We pray that you will be able to speak to our hearts, and we'll be able to listen and to get the message you would like us to get. Through your mother, we pray. Hail Mary,
full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So our first guest tonight, she's come all the way from Ireland, though she's not originally from there. She's been there for about a year and a half, doing some net ministry work. Her name is Taylor McGee. At one point in her life, she did read for a mass that the Pope was celebrating. So she also does like zebras. So, I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add?
Not a whole lot. She's just home for the break over Christmas vacation. So, without any further ado, give her a hand.
This is really quite an honor to be here. It's really funny that this is right in the middle. But yeah, so it's really an honor. Like Aaron said, I'm serving on mission staff with Net Ministries in Ireland. I've been there for the past year and a half. And before that, I did a lot of things which I'm about to share with you right now. So I've heard about Quo Vadis recently, which makes me so happy because I've always prayed that something like that would come from this area. But I myself, so I have family in St. Henry and Wendelene, but I grew up in Oregon. And so I first kind of encountered Christ when I was 14. I did the classic Steubenville retreat, fell in love with Jesus during adoration on Saturday night. And that basically changed my life. Before that, I was your normal middle schooler trying to figure out life, finding cool clothes and just even then realizing the emptiness of the world, dipping into parties and all those things, but just finding it was empty. When I was 14, that's when I decided I was going to run for Jesus. And I basically haven't stopped, in a sense, since then. So I went, like your youth group girl, and I loved going on retreats and different things like that. Yep, that was me, to be honest. And unfortunately, my parents divorced when I was 17, and they left the faith. But thanks be to God, I already had encountered Christ, and I was there's nowhere that I could go but to Him. So by God's grace, I ended up at Franciscan. When I was 18, I kind of made it. Guys, you don't need to make deals with God, but I did this a few times. And I made a deal with him because, as you know, Franciscan's pretty pricey, much cheaper to go to a state school. But I was just I halfway applied to OSU, and my heart wasn't in it. So applying to Franciscan was free. So I applied to Franciscan, and the application was I was just there was this fire in my heart, and I've come to now recognize that fire as the way that the Lord speaks to me, this passion. And so I got accepted, and I didn't even end up applying to any other schools. And so I made a deal with the Lord. I was I'll just go there for one semester, and then I'll come back. But it was within that one semester that I realized, wow, there's no way that I could go anywhere else. The community at Franciscan and the opportunities were just life-changing for me. Joined the household, sacrifice of love, and got to study in Austria. So I went and I studied nursing. I went to study nursing, and as I was studying nursing, things were going along pretty well. But when I was studying in Austria, we had a night of prayer teams, praise and worship and things like that. And so people were praying with me, and I just felt Jesus was saying to me, Taylor, will you follow me? And I was I'm doing pretty good. I'm a Franciscan. Life is good. But he said, will you follow me? And at that time, I realized that I had a choice to make. To actually give everything to Jesus. Because if he would have told me up to that point, are you happy? I for sure would have been yeah. I'm super happy. So basically, I unfortunately said no. I said, what will they think of me? And again, I need to deal with the Lord. I said, but I'll follow you in 2 years. So I went back, and I felt like a real sadness in my heart from saying no to him. But 2 years later, my senior year comes around in college, and I'm like, oh hey, I remember I said I was going to follow Jesus now, whatever that means. And so I went back to college, and like I was going through, and by the end of the year, there was a retreat on Born of the Spirit retreat, similar to like the Life in the Spirit seminars. And so I went to it, signed up, went, and I was like, oh man, like this is the time. And so Jesus, he asked me again, he said, will you follow me? And this time I said, yes! Inside my head, of course. And so that was when a few things changed drastically in my life. First was a surrender to a significant amount of control, which had been taking place in the form of an eating disorder. And he asked me to give that to him. And so I began to give that to him. And the second thing was the call to be a missionary for Christ. And so I decided within about 3 weeks, like it was just like so clear. I only had 3 months of my nursing degree, so I finished that off. But it was so clear, like the nursing doors just like closed, and there were kind of 3 options. And so I prayed through those options. And again, my heart at the time was like really on fire and drawn toward the Culture Project, what's now the Culture Project. So I served, I applied, and again, it was just like this fire in my heart, like this joy and this peace. I applied and things went smoothly, and so I had the opportunity to travel with the Culture Project and teach about theology of the body and chastity to a whole bunch of young people. And so I did that, and I did that in Belize, and came back, and I was doing youth ministry here in Quo Vadis for a year, and I felt like the Lord was saying to me, Taylor, I'm not done.